Hello, everyone. This is the Insomniac GM. Now, what does Adventure Time and Moana have in common? Well, that would be this campaign. Currently, I am running a tropical campaign. It was originally supposed to be OSE, but it ended up becoming Palladium Fantasy First Edition. Now, for this game, I'm going to be covering session 1 and 2 just because there was pretty much a session 0 built into session 1, and session 2 was more of a dungeon crawl, so there wasn't a whole lot to talk about in that sense. But so our players we have two elementalists, one female, one male. We have the water and the fire. Female's water, the male's fire. We also have our witch who's becoming a necromancer, and then we have our ranger. And lastly, I created an RCC or racial character class that is a Lishi, plant folk that I created. So session 0/1, our Lishi player was not able to make it. So what ended up happening was the players were all from a tribe on one of the islands of Hawaii, and they traversed over to Maui. And when they traveled there, they were captured by the Americans. Now, I know this is not a perfect representation of these characters. This is a um I took inspiration from these characters, but they are nothing like what I am creating. This is like a evil version of Captain Cook. So in this world, Captain Cook gets his hands on a divine artifact, and when he has it, he shatters it when he tries to use it, and the shards of this artifact plunge itself into the players and into himself, and the players fall off the ship. They wake up later on, hours later, onto the shore of a beach, and they're now away from Captain Cook. Now, this is day 0 in the game. Well, my little quirk with this game is every time the players die, they start back at day 0. So every time they'll wake up on this beach, they get to keep their experience points and they get to keep their memories. So yeah, equipment they don't get to keep. So from that point on, the players they tried traveling. They had some dumb deaths. We had one monster the players came across, which that's one thing I should mention is after this, day 0, they noticed that there started being weird anomalies in the world, things that didn't make sense, because this world was, for the most part, grounded in realism other than the magic. They ran across like this bear creature, and this bear creature, it had a small head, big body, kind of pictured like a bear version of Snorlax. And one of the players ran up to hug it, our fire elementalist, and got killed instantly. So everyone started back at day 0, and they learned about the curse. They later on came across another monster, and the monster was trying to get away from them. It was like an albino reptile like grasshopper. And once again, our fire elementalist chased it down and started attacking it. And, well, he cornered it and it turned around and killed him. So we weren't doing too good there. Each time they died, they noticed that there was a black star in the sky, and it kept growing bigger and brighter. Well, after those 2 deaths, they went in the completely opposite direction. I believe west at this point, and they came across like this beautiful woman, but she had like antennas, and they talked to her, and they found out that she came from the world of beyond the stars. Now, she she talked about how every time they died, she'd restart on a day zero. And she had some artifacts with her from like her world, and she'd be willing to trade it to them. So she'd offered to trade them. They wanted a firearm from her. Now, for those who are curious about what this female alien looked like, she was a Lashanta from Starfinder. Um, the players talking to her ended up learning as they spoke with her that there was something that was causing creatures from other worlds to come into this world and become one with this world. So at that point, our players went and they wanted to end up killing a creature to trade her for the sniper rifle. And when they did, the party was in disagreement, so they split up, and Fire Elemental and Ranger went alone to go hunt down a creature, and they came across a wild cat. I believe it was a jaguar, and it started attacking Ranger, and Fire Elemental was just he was not cooperating well. He he would keep using like spells or try to wait, and like he just wasn't trying to save his ally right away. And I think in part that's because he wanted to see his ally die, so it wasn't just him. But I'm not for sure on that. Um, so they died. And we go back to day zero again. At this point, session 2 comes around, and we follow our Lishi player. And he is in the Pathfinder world. And as he's exploring after the death of his druid creator, um, he ends up coming across like some rip in like the sky that happens, and it sucks him up like a vacuum, and he comes flying down on the planet as a shard hits him in the chest. Well, he wakes up on the shore on day zero, and he comes across the party, like same beach. Well, the party doesn't see him for how tiny he is, because he's like only like 2 feet tall. And they build a raft, and they're going to go explore in the ocean. So the Lishi hops on board the ship hiding. And eventually, as they navigate through the waters, they come across a tower, like a wizard's tower, coming out of the water. And that's when they go into it, and that's when the Lishi revealed themselves. So they talked to him, they learned he wasn't a threat, they weren't a threat, and they joined as a team, a party. And from there, the Wizard's Tower had 3 entrances. And they went in there. This Wizard's Tower was like a potion and elixir shop. And whatever was in there was smashing up what like products were in there and whatnot. And this place also doubled as like a store for this guy, or a home for this guy. Well, when they went through it, they were coming across goblins and kobolds. One thing they weren't aware of, but if they go back there again, they'll learn that these not goblins, gnomes and kobolds, they were in battle with each other, and they were both on high alert. So when they saw the party members, they would attack the party based on what they did. So The kobolds were way more aggressive than the gnomes, but the gnomes were still aggressive. Um, these gnomes and kobolds, they have not seen people like them before. And so they fought both of these groups. They were on different sides of the building. There were a few things that the players did not come across in there. They did find a security owlbear on high alert, and instead of killing it, they made it realize that they weren't a threat and left him alone. Which later on they wanted to bring the owlbear with them, but the owlbear didn't want to come with them because they didn't roll high enough. Now, as they were exploring, our wizard fell down like a shaft, like a trap, and came back to the bottom floor, where he noticed the tower was sinking. So he noticed that there was an illusionary wall that was being revealed because the water was just not bouncing off of that wall. It seemed like the waves were going right through the wall, like it was a hologram. So they went through it, and they he found one of those shards that plunged into them. So he grabbed that, and they all ended up leaving the tower because it was just sinking at such a high rate. And there were things they found in there, like they found a notebook with writing in it, but the water damage smudged everything. So if they go back there, they can read what it says. And they escaped. Now, after that, I should state one thing I forgot in session 1 is they did come across a giant mechanical head. They found a mechanical head with an AI in it, and at night it would glow green. Well, the players started suffering from radiation poisoning being near it. Nobody died because of it, but they were losing hair and teeth and all that. This robot head with the AI in it is the same one from one of my Rifts one shots. If you're not noticing the pattern, my other RPG games and then just other worlds are actually colliding into this one. Now, going back, last thing they did in session 2 is they came across an old man. And this old man was constantly snickering and smiling, just so confident. And they started trying to question him on things because they noticed he knew who they were. He knew what they were going through, and they couldn't get direct answers from him. But what they did learn was that it is true that the other worlds are coming into this one, but those other worlds are coming in every time they die, that they are weakening the barrier of time and space itself. And if they die too much, that these other worlds not only could be destroyed, but also there's two by them all colliding into one another. So that's their stakes. They also learned from him that the Captain Cook is going through the same thing. So if they kill Captain Cook, well, we're going to have the same incident. So the only way to stop them is they need to gather all these shards and then find Captain Cook, and it'll take all those shards, bring back that divine artifact, and that'll break the curse. But at that point, somebody's got to die, either the heroes or Captain Cook. So that was session 1 and 2. I can't wait for session 3. I'm curious to see where it goes. This game is very gonzo, and it's becoming more so as they die. I should state, session 2, the players learned from session 1, I'm not playing games, so I will kill them. So session 2, they were playing very smart and working a lot better. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this, and I will see you guys again next time. Take care.